Do you know what the most read book of all time is? The Bible. It has been translated into 2,000 languages, with over 6 billion copies in print. At least 90% of the world's population can read it in their own language. It's about 4,000 years old, but it remains the #1 most popular book in the world every year. But there is an opinion that it should not be read and received from people, for it is the book of the kafirs. Allah will punish you if you read it. Why? Maybe it is because it belongs to Russian Christians? Or maybe because it belongs to Americans? Or maybe because it is distorted? But after all, many have never seen or read the Bible to make that claim. Let's find out if we are allowed to read it and what the Quran says about the Bible. To do this, we will go through the history and get to know the facts in order. The word Bible comes from the Greek biblia, which means books. In turn, the word Bible comes from the word papyrus. The fact is that in ancient times, trade in papyrus was mainly through the Phoenician city of Byblos, which was located on the territory of present-day Lebanon. Over time, the name of the material was fixed for the city. Later, the Bible became the name of a collection of sacred texts of Jews and Christians. This is how the Russian name Bible appeared. The Bible includes 3 important books of Islam: Taurat, Zabur, and Injil. It was written for 1,500 years. It was written by 40 authors, including sages, kings, shepherds, farmers, doctors, legislators, and others. Despite their different social status and era, they carried one common message. It is important to note that the Bible was born in the Middle East and absorbed the images, worldview, and atmosphere inherent in Middle Eastern culture. Almost the entire scripture was written down by the inhabitants of the ancient Middle East. In Central Asia, much of the Bible's stories are known from Arabic sources. The Bible is the oldest source of cultural and religious life in the Middle East. It describes the lives of prophets Adam, Nuh, Ibrahim, Ismail, Musa, Yusuf, Suleiman, Isa, and others. It tells where the rite of circumcision came from and its significance. It describes the events that gave rise to the celebration of Eid Bayram. The Bible also speaks about God's prohibition of eating pork, drinking alcohol, and worshiping any images, crosses, idols. Here we find the origin of the custom of washing before entering the temple. Or, for example, why do people stand up before elders as a sign of respect? In the Holy Scriptures, we also find expressions that later came to Central Asia, such as Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim and Salam Alaikum. The Bible teaches that the most important command begins with the proclamation, God is one. That is, the Bible does not say that there are many gods, but rather that there is only one Creator. And the Bible also contains prophecies that have been fulfilled and are very soon to be fulfilled. For example, about global diseases and wars. And what does the Quran say about the Bible? The Honorable Quran says that Taurat, Zabur, and Injil were given by Allah. Taurat is the Old Testament, or the law of Prophet Musa. Zabur is the Psalms of Daud, and Injil is the New Testament, or the Gospel of Isa al-Masih. Taurat is mentioned in the Quran 18 times, Zabur 3 times, and Injil 12 times. Despite the common belief among many people that the Bible is distorted, the Quran, on the contrary, speaks well of it and invites Muslims to read it. Here is an example. And we gave him the gospel containing guidance and light and confirming what was revealed in the Torah, a guide and a lesson to the God-fearing. Or this is the book. There is no doubt about it. A guide for those mindful of Allah. These are just a few examples of the many ayats of the Quran where there is support for the Bible. The Quran strongly asserts that previously sent books should be read. Belief in the holy scriptures sent by Allah is one of the central pillars of Iman. This fundamental tenet is called al-Kutub, in the plural, rather than the singular al-Kitab, all because the Quran recognizes all the previous books, Taurat, Zabur, and Injil, as sacred. To be a true Muslim, one must believe all the scriptures of Allah, and this teaching is clearly confirmed in the Quran. Since there is only one true God, His holy scripture, the Bible, is for all peoples. The book has been respected in different cultures since ancient times. All the great writers, scientists, and musicians have found inspiration and meaning in reading the Bible. The Bible is a book that is a message of the Almighty to all mankind, regardless of nation, language, or age. Today it is available for us, to the inhabitants of Central Asia. In every country, people find comfort in the pages of this book. Their lives are changing for the better. What do we need for this? We should not be afraid of it, but on the contrary, we should read it. After all, we can't say that pilaf is not tasty without tasting it, can we? So why do we say the Bible is bad if we haven't read it? Shall we read it together?